All right, friends, we've made it to the very last example of 4-2. Just a reminder, this goes on page 19 if you are in my class and use an interactive notebook. Our learning objective is to solve systems of equations using the substitution method. Our language acquisition objective is to explain how to solve a solution, how to find a solution of a system of equations by substitution using academic vocabulary. And our essential question is, how do you use substitution to solve a system of linear equations? Those were just some reminders. Now we're going to move on to example 4, which is our word problems. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a clean read of this word problem, and then we're going to mark it up. So Nate starts a lawn mowing service. In his business, he has expenses and he has revenue. Nate's expenses are the cost of the lawnmower and gas, and his revenue is $25 per lawn. At what point will Nate's revenue exceed his expenses? Okay, so let's number the sentences. We have that he starts a lawn mowing business in sentence 1. He has expenses and revenue in sentence 2. His expenses are the cost of the lawnmower and the gas, and his revenue is $25 per lawn. That's sentence 3. And at what point will Nate's revenue exceed his expenses? That's sentence 4. Okay, so now we need to go back through and we need to circle any numbers we see. Well, I don't see any in sentence 1. I don't see any in sentence 2. Sentence 3, I see $25. And then that's all the numbers I see in the word problem. I do see, however, numbers in this picture. I see $200 and I see $2. Okay, so now we need to go through and we need to underline any keywords or operation words. So we know we're talking about Nate, that's the who. And his business, he has expenses and he has revenue. Nate's expenses are, so we see expenses again, we're going to underline it, are the cost of the lawnmower and the gas. Okay, I also see and means addition, so I'm going to make a little plus sign so I know there. And his revenue is $25 per lawn. I see per means times, so I'm going to make a little dot there so I know that means times. At what point will Nate's revenue exceed his expenses? So let's go ahead and box that question because that is when we are trying to figure out. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is create our system. So let's figure out what X and Y represent. So X is going to represent something and Y is going to represent something. Let's let X represent lawns, number of lawns. Because I do see a per lawn, so I need to have a lawn situation. And then let's let Y equal, well, we're also talking about money, right? So let's have Y represent a dollar amount. Okay, so my first equation is going to be about Nate's expenses. So we know that his expenses are going, and that's a dollar amount, right? So our first equation is going to be Y equals the dollar amount, which is your expenses, equals the cost of gas. Well, gas is $2 per lawn. So, and I'm getting that information from here, this lawnmower and gas. I also know the lawnmower is $200, so it's going to be $200 for the lawnmower plus the amount of gas per lawn. I see per, which means times. I see lawn, which is going to represent X, so it's going to be 2X. Then my next equation is going to represent his revenue. Revenue is like profit. It's like how much he's getting. He gets $25 per lawn. So again, a Y, because it's the amount of money, Y equals 25 per lawn, and lawn is X. So 25 times X. That's our system right here, my friends. Now we need to use substitution to figure out when Nate's revenue is going to exceed his expenses. So we're going to take these two and we're going to substitute them in. Well, in this case, we've got this really unique experience where y is isolated on both. So you guys might recall this from when we were solving equations. Topic 1, that this guy and this guy, if they're both equal to the exact same thing, then we can set them equal to each other. So we're going to put 200 plus 2x equals 25x, because they're both equal to y. So that means they can both be equal to one another. Okay, so now I'm going to move my terms with the x's onto the opposite side. So I'm going to subtract 2x from either side, and that gives me 200 equals 23x. Now let's divide by 23 on either side, and I'm going to get x equals about 8.7-ish. Okay, so then that's when the cost is going to be the same. That after 8.7 lawns, his cost, like his revenue, and his expenses are going to be equal, meaning he's going to equal out and he'll be at a level playing field. He won't be making any money. He'll just be paying all the stuff that he's already used in expenses. Okay, he hasn't made any money yet. So after how many lawns will he start making money? If he has to mow at least 8.7 lawns just to break even, when will he actually gain money? Well, let's say that if he does 9, he's going to make money. So our answer here, guys, is going to be after 9 lawns, Nate's revenue will exceed his expenses. Now with these questions, you need to be careful because sometimes they will ask you how much money will he make after 9 lawns, or so on and so forth. So sometimes there's 2 questions, and if that's the case, then you need to solve for the other answer. But it's only asking you at what point will Nate's revenue exceed his expenses. So this is the only answer that the word problem is asking for. Okay? All right, I'm going to help you set up number 2, and then we'll end the video, and we'll be done with 4-2. Fun Time Amusement Park charges $12.50 for admission, and then a 75 cents per ride. River's Edge Park charges $18.50 for admission, and then 50 cents per ride. For what number of rides is the cost the same at both parks? All right, let's number the paragraphs. So Fun Time Amusement Park charges $12.50 for admission and then 75 cents per ride. That's sentence 1. River's Edge Park charges $18.50. Okay, that's sentence 2. And then sentence 3 is the question. Now let's circle our numbers. We've got $12.50, and then we've got 75 cents per ride. And then River's Edge charges $18.50 and then 50 cents per ride. And then for what number, we know we're going to box that because it's what the question is asking. For what number of rides is the cost the same at both parks? I underlined rides and costs for a reason. I know that per means multiplication, so anytime I see per, I see ride and I see ride. And we're talking about money. Fun Time Amusement Park and River's Edge. Okay. So let's figure out the equations, or what we're going to be using. We're talking about rides and cost. So let's make rides equal x and cost equal y. Now let's create our equations for both parks. I'll do River's Edge, or actually Fun Time, in red. So the cost of Fun Time is equal to, how much are you just paying to get in? I see this $12.50, so $12.50. In addition, because we see and, that's plus, 75 cents per ride. So what stands for ride? Oh, X does. So 0.75X. Now let's create the equation for River's Edge. So we'll have the cost to get in equals just the admission, so $18.50, but then you want to do stuff there, so plus 50 cents per ride, so 0.50x, or if you just want to put 0.5x, that's fine as well. You go from there. You do the rest using substitution. Look at example 1 if you need help. What did we do next? And that's it. That's the end of this video. See you in the next one. Bye.